Hello, everyone, and welcome in. Today is Friday, February 15th, and this is your daily card reading to see what all messages want to come through from God, Spirit, the Divine. So I hope everybody is getting ready for a fun and relaxing weekend. One of the things happening tomorrow, if you haven't checked out your second half of the month readings yet, so those have already posted, but I did mention that tomorrow, so on the 16th, we do have Venus is entering Aquarius. So there's going to be some energy of change within your relationships and kind of that sense of a little bit more independence and some unconventional thinking. So if you're feeling a little bit of a push of that type of energy, that could be where it's coming from. All right, so let's jump in and see what all messages want to come through for the collective, and then we'll go sign by sign, grouping by grouping. So we have our Six of Cups in reverse, we have our Nine of Wands, and then we have our Two of Wands in reverse. So overall energy with your Six of Cups in reverse, this is a little bit of that energy of kind of leaving home and moving on, and like you were focusing too much on the past, because this upright is usually about that nostalgic feeling. So there is a sense of focusing too much of your attention on the past and kind of moving on from that. And maybe you are moving away from home, depending on, and home could mean a physical house relocation or your physical residence. It can also mean moving away from your comfort zone. So if home is like that comfortable feeling, like you're moving away from that a little bit. There is, and you're kind of making, like, you're taking a stand for something. And there's this sense of like perseverance and resilience. She's climbing up here on the mops or whatever. So it's almost like, with your Six of Cups in reverse, and like you felt like you were getting stuck in the past. It's almost that, no, okay, I've got to persevere through that. I can't keep getting myself stuck in the past. That's not really working for me, because it leads you to this sense of indecision. So those energies together, and we'll see how they kind of play out with each of the sign groupings. But this is like this failure to plan, and like you don't want to make a decision. And so some of you, if you were getting stuck and then you're leaving home, maybe it's not of your own accord. Maybe it was your lack of planning that led you to feeling like you're being pushed out of your comfort zone, out of your, happy place. So let's take a look and see how that actually is playing out for the individual sign groupings. Today we will start with our fire signs and see what all messages want to come through. All right, fire signs. The Fool, new beginnings. And so that definitely has that feel of you haven't really planned, and so you've been avoiding making a change, and you've kind of been in this sense of indecision. But now you finally gotten to that point of, I'm tired of being stuck, I'm moving on, and I'm starting fresh, like I'm starting something new. And whether that is, like I said, a physical change in residence, that sort of I'm leaving home, or whether it's I'm leaving my comfort zone, because sometimes, and comfort zone isn't always necessarily happy comfort zone. It's just, this is what I'm used to. So it's kind of that whole thing of with, like with, what is it, with frogs? If you put them in a pot of like room temperature water and then just slowly turn up the heat, they'll just sit there and die, because it's like it's happening so gradually. So your comfort zone, your home space, may not necessarily be happy, warm, and fuzzy, but it's just like that's what you got used to. So your jumper card is Goddess of Creation, Transformation, Creativity, and Wholeness. And look at the beautiful greens between the two of those. So it's that sense of transformation, like what is it that you want to bring in? So this is creativity, and how we have that energy of like change in the relationships kind of coming through for tomorrow. It looks like, use some creative thinking to see how can you start a new path? How can you start a path where you are feeling fulfilled? Because with this Nine of Wands energy, this perseverance and resilience, I mean, there's the admirable side of that, oh, you're you're working really hard at something and you're not giving up. But then there's also the stubborn side of that of, oh my gosh, you're not giving up. And I remember I had this, for people who remember back from like the 90s, it was those successories posters, where it's like the pretty picture and it's the motivational saying and all of that. And it was like the opposite of that. I think it was like from demotivation.com or something like that. And it was a picture and it's like, if winners never quit and quitters never win, if you're not winning and you're not quitting, then you're an idiot, or, something like that. And so it's like, that's kind of the flip side of this, is that, at some point the persistence is not necessarily warranted. Like, you need to know when to draw that line. All right. And then the card I drew was Flame Tree, the start of something new. So this is exactly the same as this card, the start of something new. You're taking that step forward. All right, let's take a look at our Sufi Wisdom card and see what wants to come through for you, for fire signs. Union of love. Embrace the beloved within your heart. So when you look at that, those are kind of going together. So that's like the start of something new. So leaning in and embracing that love, embracing what's in your heart, whether that's a person, whether that's a life passion, mission, new career choice, whatever that is. If you are marrying that energy and that deep love that you have with your external actions, that's where you're going to see that sense of joy and happiness and meaning and fulfillment in your life. All right. And let's take a look at your spirit animal for our fire signs. Wolf, Pathfinder. Release your past and start a new journey. You are a teacher and help others find their way. There will be challenges, but your soul is strong. Perseverance is your secret power. You have a love that endures. So, again, this is the third card that I've drawn that's talking about starting a new journey. So, whatever it is, this leaving home for you is ending out one cycle and starting something new. However that plays out, however that manifests in your life, that's the very clear message there for fire signs, is you are starting something new. And like I said, it can be on anything. It can be jobs, friendships, life path, relationships, but keeping in mind some of these changes that are happening, like tomorrow's energy with changes in relationships, maybe a special note or eye for that. All right, earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. What messages do we have for you? The moon. So this is like lies and deceit, what's happening, trickery, like what's happening by the light of the moon, in the dark of night. And I think this came up with the earth signs for the second half of February. I'm pretty sure it did. At least I feel like it did. Or maybe that was from the Cancer reading. But something to be mindful of. So you've been persevering and you have this decision, and it's like you've been avoiding making change. You've been avoiding this, and you've been sitting in this energy of indecision, and you're persevering, but there's something that you're just not seeing, whether it's that you don't know that the person's lying to you, or you just don't want to admit it, or maybe you're lying to yourself about it. But it's keeping you stuck. It's keeping you looping through that cycle where you're feeling like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? So kind of the push there is, figure out what you're doing. Okay, so the jumper card, we'll do both of them. So the jumper card is Purification by Fire, Bare Essentials, the Naked Truth, and Wholeness. And then the pulled card is the Message, Positive News, Positive Outcomes. So this Purification by Fire, that's kind of like, let's strip things down to the bare essentials. Like, let's take away all this other fluffiness and really see what it is. What is the naked truth? if you've been plagued with a sense of there's, lies and trickery and there's all these illusions, let's burn that to the ground and see what's left standing. And so, whether that's, like I said, jobs, whether that's relationships, see what's left standing when you peel back all of those layers. And there's going to be some positive news. So when you look at that, and actually that, I feel like color-wise kind of goes along with this blue, there's a positive message. So even if something seems like, oh, whatever is ending, and actually look at that in there, her dress in there with these colors, it's kind of like, you've been avoiding making this decision, but at some point you got to make the decision, right? And it's kind of like, okay, let's burn everything else to the ground and see what's left standing. And that's the underlying truth. This is deal with the unexpected. Treat the unforeseen as a divine offering. So some of the times when something comes up, and especially as we think about it, like with tower moments, it's kind of that, oh my gosh, why is this happening to me? This is a disaster. But usually it's because you didn't want to make a decision. You were avoiding the signs. You were scared to make it. You were not telling yourself the truth, whatever it was. Like if there's big unforeseen thing, and sometimes it's not even unforeseen. If there's big things that are coming in, take that as a blessing from the divine of saying, you know what, I'm just going to cut you loose from this situation because you're just looping through pain. And so, yes, it might hurt more in the present moment, but continuing, death by 1,000 paper cuts, do you want that? Or do you just want, the big slash that's going to take care of the situation so that you can move on and see it as a blessing, that it's keeping you from looping in painful cycles. Unicorn, infinite possibilities. You are the sovereign of the seen and unseen worlds. The magic of love surrounds you. Beauty transforms you. Listen to the spirits of light, abandon the darkness, go beyond the ordinary and become the legendary. And so this is kind of like you have all these possibilities, and there's so much you could do with your life. Do you want to keep devoting your time and energy into this looping indecisiveness? And especially with this perseverance card coming up with this two of wands in reverse, it kind of comes across like you don't want to make a decision, so you're just going to keep, I'm just going to keep standing still and I'll see what happens. But choosing to do nothing is still making a decision, so you're not necessarily helping yourself. Alrighty, water signs. Let's take a look at what we've got for our water signs. The Magician. So this is about transforming lead into gold with Jordy's gold shirt. So it's taking this indecision and this kind of like, oh, what do I do? And transforming it into something good. It's using that energy to move yourself forward in a positive manner. So let's see what else is coming through. Like what messages from Gaia? We have the dream. Something is revealed, insight and breakthrough. So if you don't keep a dream journal, you might want to consider doing that. And I find actually that if your dream journal is literally right there next to your pillow, not where you have to get up and go to the other room and get it and write it down, by the time you sit up and start moving, it's already going. If you can stay laying down and like half in that dreamy state, you can usually remember it a little bit more. But let some of those things come to you in your sleep and in your dream space. Determination. Perseverance leads to fortune. So it's interesting because this one, for some of the other signs, this perseverance is more like, all right, is it time to be done persevering? With this one, it's almost the opposite message of the perseverance is going to lead to something good. So just work on how you transform that energy and you'll be sitting in a much better place. So it's not like, okay, stop. just stop. It's more like, okay, just keep going. You're almost there. You're almost there. So a little bit of a different message for the water signs than it was for fire and earth. All right, let's take a look at your spirit animal card. Swan, grace. You who glides across the waters of my soul, bring me your wisdom and light. Help me transform into elegance and grace. Inspire me with dignity and the spirit of beauty. If you're on a twin flame journey, this is your card. Swans usually signify twin flames. So some of that, and I feel like these cards, like just the coloring with these like purples all in the background, they kind of all flow together in terms of transforming your current struggles and leading it into that place of grace, and that the good fortune will come. Just keep at it. You're kind of that sense of you're closer than you think to your goals. And, kind of the idea of stop focusing so much on the past, release that, and, know that you're almost past this struggle. All right, now we're on to our air signs. So that is our Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and we have the High Priestess. So the High Priestess, this is that divine feminine, inner wisdom, higher consciousness type of energy coming in. And, it looks like that energy is coming in here on this decision that you need to make, because, you've got this and this. So this indecision that you've been grappling with, the back and forth, and, like you're avoiding the change, bring that inner wisdom and that divine feminine, higher consciousness in. So call in on your spirit guides and on your higher self, and meditate on that and pray on that in terms of which direction to go. So this idea of leaving home, leaving your comfort zone, is kind of coming through louder on the air signs, like that, you're focusing too much on the past, and let that go. Leave your comfort zone, even though it might feel more comfortable. Like, well, but the past has shown me that this person will do X, Y, Z. Done. Leave that in the past. So leaving your comfort zone, maybe that's how you usually are. Like, you're looking to the past to tell you what's going to happen in the future. So leave that comfort zone. That's the home you need to look at leaving. So, all right. Remembrance. Resurfacing of past feelings and emotions. So, like I said, with this whole, the thing about the past and about focusing too much on the past, let those past emotions, if they're going to be resurfacing, these past emotions, let them flow, acknowledge them, and then release them. So with the Venus entering Aquarius tomorrow, where there's going to be changes in relationships, you can't move forward if you're still clinging to the past. And I've seen this great quote online. I can't remember exactly how the quote is worded, but it's something to the effect of, when somebody's trying to change, let them show up in that change space. Like, stop continuing to point out what they did in the past, because if they're legitimately trying to change, if you keep holding them to everything in the past, they're never going to be able to change. So that's not to say you totally forgive and forget and excuse like bad behavior, or if it's a series of terrible behavior, but at some point you either have to just totally cut it off and say, this isn't something I can forgive, or you need to figure out how to let it go, because otherwise you're just going to keep looping through that same feeling or argument over and over. Make friends. Friendship is the alchemy of success. So this is that reminder of, make sure that, you have your, I'll call it your soul tribe, and really look at those relationships that you have, those friendships, people that you can count on. And as you raise your vibration, especially if you're on a journey, like an ascension journey, and you're healing and all of that, sometimes it does end up feeling like you lose some of your friends, because as your vibration increases or raises, some low vibe people just kind of naturally fall out of your circle. you know, if you're finally kind of turning that corner in life and you feel like you're happy and everything, and you have your one friend that's always like, oh, life is terrible. This is awful. This is terrible. Oh my gosh, why are we even here? I should just go run off and nobody cares. You know, like at some point that just doesn't resonate with you anymore, you know. So energetically, you're going to call in people that are at your vibration. So you always be open to making friends, because throughout your life, as your vibration changes, your friends are going to change too. All right, spirit animal, snow leopard, self-reliance. You are strongly independent and often solitary. Integrity is important for your best outcome. Cloak yourself with invisibility and walk with the shamans. Use your intuition and let your life unfold in silent perfection. So this is, you know, and it's interesting because this is kind of like solitary, but hey, make friends. So it feels more like this is where you're being pulled right now, is into this sense of solitary, you know, self-reflection, but the reminder of continue to make friends, continue to be out in the world and energetically engaging with and interacting with other people to give you that good sense of balance. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. And as always, take only what resonates and leave the rest behind. So make sure you hit that subscribe and notification bell to be alerted when new videos post. There will be some twin flame ones. Is this your person? Pick a pile, things like that. And I wish you peace and joy along your journey. Until next time.